Well, guys, it happened again. It happened again, and you better believe we're going to have to deal with another multi-week long round of blatant gaslighting of everyone who is reasonable enough and not blind enough to recognize what they have seen. This is all centered around a man by the name of Steve Bannon, who has not been relevant in like 8 years now. Like, this dude has not been someone who has actively talked about in politics very much for the last 7 or so years, because he only served 7 months under Trump in his first administration before he was discharged by Trump, ended up going to jail for like 4 months, and now he's like disgraced. But he is still a very influential and, evil person. But he was one of the biggest names and one of the biggest brains in Donald Trump's entire campaign in the first time around. In fact, this guy's got connections everywhere. Many people actually credit him as the guy who started Gamergate. He was the one who was super knowledgeable about, like, the gaming world. He actually operates an illegal Chinese World of Warcraft gold farming ring. Like, basically, he owns a company that operates bots out of China to illegally operate like bot accounts in WoW to farm gold and then sell them for real money to other players. So like when you go into WoW and you see like how the economy gets ruined by bots, those like one of the companies operating those bots and profiting off of that is owned by Steve Bannon. He's been doing this for over a decade now. It's been one of his big sources of income, or one of them. This is a guy who knows the tech scene. He knows areas where he can take advantage of vulnerable people and benefit from it. He literally is like a crotchety old man operating illegal gold selling rings in WoW. He knows all the most shameless ways to succeed and make money, and he will, without a shadow of regret, pursue those opportunities. Now, this is a guy who basically strategized the entire Trump campaign and set the standard for how Trump and his campaign operate to this day. And while I can't show much, this is a clip that John Oliver shows in one of his more recent segments, in which he shows a clip of Steve Bannon explaining what the Trump administration and campaign does in order to win people over and discredit the media, which is their two primary goals: win people over and discredit the media, why they did it, and how they did it. I can't show much, but I just want to show the clip of Steve Bannon himself explaining it so you can get an idea of what this guy did, what he did for Trump, and frankly, the game that these people play with us. Let's watch.
So what we've got to do is just hit, and keep it. It's momentum. The opposition party is the media. And the media can only, because they're dumb and they're lazy, they can only focus on one thing at a time. I said, all we have to do is flood the zone. Every day we hit them with 3 things. They'll bite on one and we'll get all of our stuff done. Bang, bang, bang. These guys will never be able to recover. But we got to start with muzzle velocity. So it's got to start, it's got to hammer, it's got to muzzle velocity.
So they're right. Like, Steve Bannon was right. He had a very, very effective method, and that is what the right does to this day. They throw so much at the wall, no matter how crazy. Like, Trump could do 3 crazy, insane things in one day. Only one of those things is going to get focused on. Everything else they get away with. No one remembers. And with that one thing the media focuses on, if they can do everything in their power to ensure it's even a little bit less bad than the media said it was going to be, or it even seems a little bit less bad than the media said it was going to be, then the media has been fully discredited for a lot of people. And he played a large part in the discrediting of the media for the American people. It was a plan. The people who executed the plan and made the plan have admitted that that was the plan. It was to fool people into voting for Trump by discrediting the media, using their people's stupidity. But Steve Bannon, he decided to appear at CPAC today, and I guess going off of the Elon Musk Nazi salute, wanting to do a little bit of that media trolling, literally acting on the exact thing that he just described in that clip. He went on stage and he busted one out, bro. He went up on that stage and he busted one out in front of everyone, dude. He just threw it out there. He just busted that Nazi salute out. You know, if you think about it, like a Nazi salute, when he did it, it's almost like he just like nutted in his hand and decided to kind of like fling it out at the audience. You know what I mean? Like the Nazi salute kind of looks like that, you know? Like if you're trying to like fling cum onto an audience of people. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make a bit out of this, but it's actually really depressing and serious, and if we don't laugh, we're gonna cry. Let's watch.
We're not gonna retreat. We're not gonna surrender. We're not gonna quit. Fight, fight, fight!
You saw the look on his face as he did. I like how he made sure there is no way to actually reasonably write it off as not a Sieg Heil. And he smiles at the camera as he does it, because as we just saw him say, he's now thinking of like, all right, now we start to discredit the media because they're going to attack me for this, and we're going to make them look crazy for calling this out. And more people are going to hate the media and see it as deranged and Trump derangement syndrome and woke. Like, this is deliberate bait. We're at the point now where a politician can do a Nazi salute, and that's bait that if the media takes, we lose. We lose if we take the bait.
Amen.
Now, that was such an extreme thing to do that Jordan Bardella, he's a leader of the French National Rally, so their far-right party, has cancelled his planned speech to CPAC this weekend because he now thinks that the stain of Nazism hangs over the conference. Now, of course, Trump will still happily be attending on Saturday. Let's go to Bannon once more, though, because in his speech he also said this.
The future of MAGA is Donald J. Trump. We want Trump in 28. That's what they can't stand. A man like Trump comes along only once or twice in a country.
They're very open now about how they want to abolish term limits and for Trump to do a third term. Trump has openly said he's running for a third term. It's happening. He is running for a third term. Like, it's not a question anymore. He is beyond a joke, outright said, do you guys want me to run for a third term? He said it today at CPAC. Do you want me to run for a third term? The whole crowd cheered, and he smiled and nodded, because he's going to run for a third term.
Country's history, right? We want Trump. 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 We want...
No way. The CPAC convention crowd wants Trump? Damn, this must represent all Americans.
Now, I suppose one of the reassuring is the wrong word, but sort of one of the silver linings maybe of the Trump presidency is that he, you know, it's difficult to see how you build the coalition Trump did without Trump's sort of, unique charisma, right? You'd imagine if Steve Bannon or someone stood for presidency and with exactly the same politics as Trump, they probably wouldn't win. And so therefore the fact that Trump can't stand again in 2028, according to the American Constitution, was a bit of a relief. Lots of people now floating the idea that maybe he will stand for a third term. Is this, I mean, I suppose one interpretation of the two clips we've just shown is...
We run Obama. I don't care that he served 2 consecutive terms. We run Obama. I don't care how old he is. I don't care how much time he wants to spend with his children. I don't care how much Michelle doesn't like it. He's got to come back. Oh, we gotta bring in Obama. We gotta unleash the most popular Democrat president we've had in modern history. We gotta bring him back.
Is that Steve Bannon is desperate for attention, which is, I think, highly plausible. Do you think there is a danger, though, that we could end up with Trump sort of changing the Constitution or breaking the...
No, like, actually, if Obama v. Trump happens, I think it might be such a hype political event that the level of viciousness in the political landscape might actually drop to a degree just because we're all so fucking hyped about that situation. everyone, Republican and Democrat, wants it to be Trump v. Obama if Trump ends up running again. Even I think that MAGA wants it to be Trump v. Obama. Like, because that would just be unbelievably hype. Let's be real. That would go crazy. You put the, Amy the Witch, you put the Yu-Gi-Oh reference in chat, and I had to stop myself from saying, you've activated my trap card, Blue Eyes, White Obama, and then I realized, wait, that might come off. That might come off weird. That means something different from a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. Blue Eyes, White Obama. For those that don't know, in Yu-Gi-Oh, at least when I was a kid in Yu-Gi-Oh, like one of the best cards and creatures in that entire thing was Blue Eyes, White Dragon. And it was like, I think a really rare card too, if I'm not mistaken. Like, this is when I was very young. And so I hear it still occasionally as a meme to this day. But yeah, we got to use our ironically, our Trump card. Obama. That goes hard. Yeah, no. Blue Eyes, White Obama is what happens when Obama gets all the, like, Chaos Emeralds, and he goes, like, Super Saiyan in order to run against Trump for the third term. That's when he
Constitution and standing for a third term.
You could change the Constitution. I mean, you're allowed to change the Constitution. FDR did 3 terms. You're allowed to change the Constitution. I suppose they could make it quite clean and say you can't serve more than 2 consecutive terms. But then, of course, you know, so what he would run again in 2028, and maybe, you know, in 2032, you've got Steve Bannon ahead of 2032 saying, no, we need Trump to run again. I mean, he's going to, at some point, be too old to run. He's going to be will he be an octogenarian, I think, Michael, in 28? He's getting on now, right?
Dude, there's no way Trump makes it to the end of the next 4 years, like, health-wise, right? Like, I'm not someone who health shames people. And this is far from my biggest criticism of Trump, but it's not irrelevant. Trump is a fat fuck, bro. He's old, and he eats McDonald's burgers all day. And the most exercise he gets is golfing, which is like the laziest sport. He could only be more of a fat ass if he bowled instead of golfing. Legitimately. If he bowled instead, that would be the only thing that would be less good for his health. He golfs. He eats he apparently plays darts, I guess, but like, he golfs. He eats nonstop McDonald's. He's got like a thick fat dumpy that he clearly is not working on making any less wide. That dude is not a healthy person, and he's old. He's so old. He doesn't come off as old, but he is, right? This man had COVID. Remember? Trump got COVID towards the end of his last term, and like, what was off screen for like a day and a half, 2 days while he was getting experimental COVID treatments. Like, everyone was like, is this it? Is this it? Please, God. And then he survived. But like, dude, he's had COVID, so no doubt that did some damage to his body. He's fat. He's old. Doesn't exercise. Bro, there's no way Trump makes it. Honestly, I'd be surprised if he's physically capable of running again. There's no way. He'll be older than Biden is now in 2028.
He'll be close to 80 by then. I think he'll be over 80 by then.
He's 78 now.
Yeah. So he'll be 82 months away. He'll be 83 probably by the time of the next election. And then if you were to do a full term after that, you'll be 87. I mean, I can't see how you do more. Maybe, right? I mean, maybe. He's a very wealthy man, and it's a country with very advanced medical technology if you have enough money. So maybe. Although I think probably the diet of Diet Cokes and double cheeseburger and fries probably won't help.
Exactly. He's got a Coke button, by the way. He's got a button that brings him a Coke or a Pepsi or whatever, right? This guy's got a soda button.
Maybe. So I think they probably could change it if they wanted to. There's not really much of a groundswell for it at the moment. But it's something I think about a lot, Michael. You know, Donald Trump is going right now, hell for leather, 100 miles an hour. Why? Because the midterms are going to be in 20 months' time. And as soon as you've had those midterms, people will be talking about Trump's successor. And I think, you know, we shouldn't just look at this as a 4-year presidency. It's effectively a 2-year presidency, because that final 2 years, a large part of it is going to be who comes after Trump. It'll be a huge political story. And I think that will really anger and upset Trump, because, he'll be in the autumn of his, or the winter, coming up to the winter, the final years of his, not just his political career, but also, in all probability, his life. And people will be talking about somebody else, and that will really upset him. So I can see why he would pivot into the possibility of a second successive term. But ultimately, I think, age will come for him. It is important.
It has to, right? Like, keep in mind, even if Trump wins a third term, there's no way this motherfucker makes it to the end of the decade, right? Like 10 years from now, there's no way he's still around then. He's so old and so unhealthy. There's no way. There's no way.
To say, Michael, the US Constitution can be amended, and there are many amendments. Mostly they're good amendments. And Trump...
Guys, you know what's going to be really funny? We're going to live well long enough to watch Melania Trump remarry. What do you think Melania Trump is going to say about the Trump family after she remarries? Like, what do you think she'll say about Donald after she remarries? Like, we're going to see that. We're going to see the drama from that. Do you think the right will attack Trump's wife if she remarries after Trump passes away? They're going to be like, why didn't you stay loyal to him, even in death? Like, they would say that. They would feel like they got cucked on Trump's behalf in some way. Like, I don't know.
Supporters would say, well, this is another good amendment. And at the same time, let's try and zone out here and not be too hypocritical, Michael. We've had prime ministers in this country for a lot longer than 8 years.
Damn, the Chuds are on big time, like, offensive mode right now in order to try to shut down people from talking about this. We've had like 4 or 5 Chuds come into chat, like, angrily insulting me about covering this stuff. Man, we must be getting close. We must be getting to the point where the right's pretty scared about people knowing about the things that are going on in government right now. They really don't want it getting talked about. That's good to know. Chud Logic, I guess? Is he, like, raiding the channel or something? That makes sense.
Okay. We had Margaret Thatcher from 79 to 90. We had John Major from 97 to 2007. So I think it would be a little bit hypocritical to say, oh, my goodness, you're serving more than 8 years. That's not allowed. Well, that's precisely what we've done. Other countries, of course, have had prime ministers serve for a lot longer. I think the durability of the American Republic for a quarter of a millennium really goes hand in hand with the impossibility of a single individual accumulating sufficient power to serve more than 2 or 3 terms in the case of FDR. And clearly Trump represents something of a challenge to that. But, these things have happened. Amendments have happened. So I think it's plausible. And I do think, Michael, there is already made...
I don't know, man. I think that Trump is going to run, and I think that the only thing that we can do is just run Obama anyway. Like, run Obama anyway. Obama wins. The Trump administration, they'll refuse to certify the election results. That's the big question. If Trump loses, will his administration certify the election results? Pence did it. Would Vance do it? Would Vance certify that Trump lost the 2028 election like Pence did? Because Pence got death threats and is now overtly anti-Trump now after what he went through. Would Vance do his job, or would he refuse? Vance won't. I feel like the qualification to be Trump's VP was whether or not you would refuse to certify the election results if Trump wins or loses. Like, I think that was probably one of the biggest qualifiers. Like, it has to be a cuck willing to bend the knee and kiss the ring when the time comes. So Vance, I am almost certain, will not certify the election results if Trump loses. Yeah. Anyway, oh God, I almost fucked up my medallion, my lovely Witcher medallion. Anyway, I highly recommend you check out this channel, by the way. Novara Media. Pretty good commentary. and one of the few channels that has been right off the bat covering this story, considering that all the other news media seem to just be talking about it with, like, the clip and that's it. It's like no commentary, nothing to say about it, just, did you see what he did? You know this is bad, right? Good messaging, mainstream media. Great messaging. One of the most influential people to the current president just Sieg Heiled on stage. The second guy close to Trump to Sieg Heil on stage in front of a conservative audience and get cheers in response when they do it. And you're just going to show the clip because everyone already knows it's bad, right? No commentary needed. That is one of the big problems with left-wing media, guys. It really, like, the left-wing mainstream media, or I guess the left-leaning mainstream media, is really, really bad at actually engaging and messaging and whatnot. Are you going to debate Jason Blaha? Is that guy still around? Isn't he, like, the, like, unhinged-looking dude that looks like, he looks like Vosh, but with, like, a red and black mohawk, and all of his shit is, like, hammer and sickle tanky shit? Who? Yeah, I didn't even know that guy was still around. I haven't heard of him in literal years. Last I saw of him was just like a bunch of random tanky shit. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, or in any way enjoyable, then consider leaving a like down below in the description. There is a button, little thumbs up. Hit that like button. It helps a lot, whether you're watching this when it goes out as its own video or when it's live. It really does mean tons whenever you hit that little button. Same goes for every comment. Doing both of those things and all my new stuff on my channel is the best way to boost me in the algorithm and support the channel. I really, really do appreciate it, as always, of course. And don't forget, if you want to see more from me on YouTube, you can always subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. And of course, finally, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias and directly support me, help me keep the lights on, the roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or you can support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or you can buy some merch through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support this channel, though, thank you so much for watching as always, and have a good one.